feminine if you ask me when it comes to this shit. You looking for any kind of piece of validation, any kind of fucking attention. And believe me, your PC master race is a very, very small subset of fucking people. It ain't that many people. Y'all loud and annoying. Anybody that bought the fucking 30, 60, 30, 80, 30, 90, 40, 90, you's a dumbass bitch that was spend fucking $1,800 on a fucking chip that ain't gonna be used for the next 20 fucking years. I don't understand. Why would you do that right now? It's just stupid to me. It's stupid to me. Every time when I see a PC person pretend like console people are so pressed about your games running a frame or two higher or some ray tracing, understand the demographics for PC and PlayStation and Xbox are completely fucking different. And you know why I say that they're different? Because most PC fucking people are actually playing mobile fucking games. They're not playing Uncharted. They're not playing Assassin's Creeds. They're playing mobile fucking games and Counter-Strike. They don't give a fuck what the fuck it looked like, and they don't even talk. Most of these PC people don't say a motherfucking thing. It's the people that spent the most fucking money and don't know what the fuck they're doing is the people that has the loudest fucking mouths. That's what I'm noticing. Talking real greasy, real loud all the fucking time. That's what I hear. All the fucking time. No one's jealous of your fucking PC. Don't you fucking know how much money I fucking got? I could easily buy a couple of them bitches and just have them sitting the fuck there. I feel like it's a waste of fucking money and I would never do it. And I'm not pressed for Sony putting their games on PC. I don't give a fuck. And I don't give a fuck if your game runs at 140, 160, 190 fucking frames a second. I can't see that fucking shit, so it doesn't matter to me. What does matter is that you're always there, right? I don't have a fucking problem, right? With, you say I'm trying to pull up? Are you in here? Oh, yeah, you are. Get yourself in here. What's going on, homie?
Hey, what it do? You go ahead and finish your rant. I'll mute and then I'll speak.
No, I mean, I feel like right now, I've already said what I needed to say, right? That's what I feel like. I feel like I've already needed to say what I needed to say when it comes to PC. So, what you guys say about this, man?
Okay. I was actually listening to you since you started. Because I know you went into God of War and Nintendo with the Pokemon rant, and then the PC one just came out of nowhere. And I did want to talk on the Nintendo situation. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap up with the PC thing. So, not sure who triggered you to feel like, very indifferent with the PC community.
You say who triggered me? You said who?
Ego factor where, you spend $1,000, you get the best performance. That's what it's supposed to do, in a way. So, them getting older, PlayStation exclusive, they're like 4, 3, 5 years old. They brag about playing at 200 frames per second. Good for them, but how much it costs? They're too afraid to admit that. All I'm saying is, don't take their jokes seriously. In the day, most of them are still gaming on a PC that's weaker than a PS5, to be honest. Some of them can barely actually outperform the Series S. If you check Steam charts, they're still gaming on like a 1000 series card.
Even if you
the Series S is more powerful than a 1000 series card.
Yo, can you hear me? Yo, can you hear me? Hey,
can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you just fine.
All right, cool. Making sure. No, look. There's nobody triggered me, right?
Yeah.
Not a specific person. I just keep seeing this shit over and over. I just always wonder. I think the news of Miles Morales not really selling well is what really kind of made me was like, okay, cool. You guys fucking continuously ask for, they need to stop being stingy and shit like that, right? And they finally put the games on PC and they don't fucking buy it. They use it as fucking benchmarks. We already have the statistics to show that their games, they're not really playing any fucking thing, really.
Yeah.
Like
games sell the least on PC nine times out of 10, unless it was like a exclusive franchise like Witcher series or Diablo. If it was like exclusive PC and then eventually came to console on its 5th installment or 3rd installment, of course it'll sell more on PC because that's where it started from. But most time, most multiplayer sell worse on there.
It's, you know what I'm saying? It's just very interesting to me when I see the bragging and no one's finishing games on PC, especially these new fucking PC people. Like if you played PC for like 5 years, 10 years, you know, a lot of the times confidence is quiet too, man. I don't know if they just feel they need to be included in the fucking conversation because the shit gets popping. Maybe that's the case. I don't fucking know. Or no one's really pushing the fucking hardware. And you just spent fucking $1,500 for nothing. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, they just want to be included. Because, like, I used to feel indifferent about, PC gamers for a while when I only play on console. Like, at least in getting my PC, and I learned more what it can do. But overall, it's like you're spending a lot to do something slightly better than what the console can do, and then you're not really getting something that fully takes advantage of your hardware. So it's just
like back in the day when Crysis came out, or even Half-Life 2. Like the fucking PC would landslide consoles, easy. Like consoles had their own specific. Like, they had their own specific, like, games. And then the PC would just blow that shit out the water. It was so advanced that they couldn't even put that type of genre out on the consoles, period. It had to be on PC. You could even compromise it. Like, for instance, Half-Life 2, right?
Yeah.
You could even compromise it. It would be heavily compromised on consoles. It had to be broken up in smaller pieces. It couldn't do certain physics, or also in Crysis, Lord Jesus, this shit didn't even. The whole game needed to. It didn't even run.
Yeah, I mean, you have to understand back then, like in the early 2000s, at the time period where console manufacturers wasn't pushing, heavy graphics. A lot of the developers that make games on PC were actually targeting the hardware properly because there was nowhere else to actually make their game with that vision. We fast forward today, after 2010, a lot of these PC games, like Crysis, for example, are now coming to the console and either running more consistent frame rate with the 8th gen hardware and so forth. It's to the point where consoles have already caught up with PCs overall for the majority audience. So,
I think at this point in time, just game development is like, you know what, the people that need to beg who they need to beg to put their games on PC is fucking Nintendo. That's who you really need to ask. That way you can get this alleged great gameplay that you guys keep talking about is alleged great gameplay for Nintendo. That shit supposedly just bar none is so good that my character can fall through the fucking level and glitch the fuck out and it's still game of the year. Or it can run at 15 frames a second when motherfuckers are crucifying other fucking companies. I ain't talking about Sony, I mean in general. Gotham Knights got crucified for just being 30 frames a second stable.
Yeah, well, it was unstable, but it ran at more consistent.
What is unstable? See, this is the bullshit that I keep hearing about. This is the nonsense. Unstable, poor frame pacing. That's what your guys are talking about. You're not gonna notice that fucking shit. You're not. Not to a degree where you can't play the game. And even if you did notice that shit, then why the fuck are you playing Switch games that is running at 15 frames a second? Or the frame rate goes from 60 to 30 to 20 to 50 to 80. That's what you're playing. But you don't got no problem with that one. That they can just get your head out of Digital Foundry's ass. How about that? And start actually playing your games.
Digital Foundry is giving us the actual, the real world results. They're actually verifying the performance that you see.
It's verifying look. It's verifying it, right? But at the same time, it's still a different experience on how you perceive it. Let me tell you something, right? Don't you know the same skin that's in a mouth is in the vagina, right? The same type of skin, right? Obviously, the experience is completely fucking different. You could, and what I mean by that, right, is on paper, it's the same fucking thing, right? Don't tell me about on paper bullshit. Oh, they're saying that every millisecond, every 16th of a millisecond, it skips a frame, every 30th of a millisecond. A lot of that shit is imperceptible. And we didn't care about that shit prior to Digital Foundry. That's my problem and grievance to fucking Digital Foundry. You guys are focused too fucking much on, it looks like you're playing games or reading fucking graphs and shit. Play the fucking game. Oh, they're telling us that it's dropping frames, so it's dropping frames. A lot of times you can't really see it or don't really give a fuck. Well, I'll say this, you don't give a fuck if you don't know it. I guarantee you won't give a fuck if you didn't know it. You want to say something about Nintendo,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna let Bless
Yeah,
in.
I did. You went on a long rant, which is fair. So I was listening in. So it was regarding to the God of War situation and Nintendo's Scarlet and Violet sales, right? When God of War Ragnarok is the best-selling PlayStation first-party exclusive when it comes to fastest selling, 5.1 million in 3 to 7 days, and outpaced Last of Us Part 2 by, I would say, a landslide. and I can kind of put in that both of these games came out with a large install base. You know, Last of Us Part 2 dropped where Sony had 100 million PS4s in the market. You know, and right now PlayStation 4, PS5 combined puts them at 140. It's incredible in my opinion for a very mature game that continues to actually evolve the franchise and not become stale. And then when it comes to Pokemon, you know, Pokemon's been around since the 90s. It's a very iconic franchise. It's always been a handheld game. It's always been portable. And when they made console version, they never really made a large-scale Pokemon game outside of XD back on the GameCube, where it had like a little, you know, get 8 gym badges, play through, and transfer between your Game Boy Advance to the GameCube and stuff. And then beforehand, it was just Coliseum for a long time. And yeah, with Scarlet dropping and selling 10 million in 3 days worldwide compared to God of War, you know, both games did well. Is it an unfair comparison? Because Nintendo is always breaking records with their iconic IPs. I personally think it's, in my opinion, could be unfair because there are two different audiences they're targeting. People who buy Nintendo buy it for family-oriented games, the children-type games. And people who buy PlayStation are buying it for the more mature audience, those who actually want a true story told to them with innovative gameplay. So it's unfair. And then with the community now, with the Nintendo fans, like how you went off with the Gotham Knights unstable performance, and then Scarlet and Violet comes out, and you're falling to the map. You're hitting 10 frames per second, games crashing. Performance is atrocious because of the hardware that it was released on. And the developer studio, Game Freak, are like the Madden of Pokemon. Like, you know how Madden comes out, it doesn't do anything new from the previous installment, they just recycle assets. That's what's happening with Pokemon. Game Freak's just flushing them out so people can say, hey, I got something new to play that's Pokemon related, even if it's not stabled or optimized enough for the handheld. It's down though. And it's like, yeah, it's hypocrite. But at the same time, it's just, that's their audience. They like AAA games that look like a low budget mobile game. That's what they love. They want to pay full price 60 and fall through the 15 frames.
It's wild to me that they allowed it. It's so wild. Let me go, Bless. I know you want to talk about some kind of PC thing. What's going on, Bless? Hope your hope your Thanksgiving was good. If you do celebrate it, not sure.
Yes. It was definitely good. Definitely enjoyed it. Hope you guys were good as well.
And as much as I can, I'm not feeling well, which is why I'm cranky.
Oh, you sick?
Yeah, I got a cold.
Um,
I actually
it's
feel
never fun.
a little dizzy right now. I just probably got a fucking fever, but I'll be all right. What you gotta say, man?
So sorry if I'm like kind of like.
You playing Call of Duty?
What? Can you hear it?
Yeah, loud, bro.
Sorry.
You want to make it to your match?
I'll just turn down this. I'll turn down my volume on my headphones. There we go. So first thing I just wanted to address, we don't actually, we don't know the actual sales of Miles Morales. Like, what? The only thing that you see on Steam is the concurrent. Unless you're talking about the actual chart, but you can't actually see the number as to how much something sold. All you see is the concurrent player base. The concurrent player doesn't necessarily mean how much sold. That's just player base, like how many players are playing at that time. That's not an indicator of how many copies the game sold.
Well, they're not selling the game. They're not selling the game for $1 either, or having it on some sort of service. You have to buy the game. So if they have the game, one of two things is happening. You could use the concurrent players, or people are pirating the game. One of the two options are true, or both.
But how many people are playing a game at a certain time doesn't necessarily reflect how many games sold, though. That's my point. Like,
the thing is, you would be accurate, right? If this was like 6 months from now, because I wouldn't tell. But if your game just launched, right? Like just launched, then it's some sort of rubric. You always go by these estimated approximations on Digital Foundry and what they say. Then you should be able to do the estimated approximation of sales in this case. The game just came out. You have a certain amount of people that's going to get their hands on it, and you can make a deduction that's probably around maybe 50 to 75% of the people that actually purchase the game. I don't know why that's
50 to 7.
I'm just counting for errors. That's all. 50 to 75%.
No, that's not how that works, brother. Because let's think about it like this.
Could you include that Spider-Man is also an Epic Game Store, and they don't keep track of concurrent players?
That as well, and yeah, a lot of basically no other actual storefront actually keeps track of players. What was I gonna say? Battle.net, for example, Activision's site. Like you would have never known how many people were actually playing Call of Duty on PC until Modern Warfare 2, because for a long time they left Steam and they were only on Battle.net. But now that they're back on Steam, you can actually get at least a small percentage of people that are possibly playing at a given time on PC. But there's still a significant amount of people that are still playing on Battle.net that you just don't know.
There's a lot of lines you need to connect. I said 50 to 75% accounting for either errors or other situations, whether it's the distribution. I'm not talking about anything exact.